We're talking with Richard Morrison. He's from CEI, and they had a lunch briefing, de-weaponization of financial regulation. I saw it. It's on YouTube. It's brilliant. Tell me what you learned at that panel discussion.
Yeah, so we looked at this, and we knew that government agencies abusing their power over the financial sector was not a new problem, and so we got three guests together to look at sort of the past, present, and future of this problem. So the past was what the Obama administration did, as we were discussing earlier, under Operation Choke Point. We had bank regulators coming in to big banks and pressuring them to debank small business, particular kinds of small business clients. Today, we have regulators really going after the cryptocurrency world. And so there are a lot of cryptocurrency businesses and investors who have had a terrible time getting and keeping bank accounts, even while minding all their P's and Q's in terms of legal lending and issuing. And then the future, I think, if we can, unless we can manage to prevent it, is a central bank digital currency, which I think some of you've certainly talked about in the past. And that would be where, like in this case, the Federal Reserve would issue digital dollars, and they would have control over those dollars in a way that they don't now, which would give them an enormous amount of influence and authority over potentially how we spend and save and invest our money. While the advocates of digital currency or central bank digital currency would say, oh, well, of course, we would never abuse these powers. I think the history of government control over the economy in general suggests it might be a bit too terrible a temptation not for them to try and exert more control in the future under those circumstances.
Well, I've got a video we show with the Bank for International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, the World Economic Forum, every one of the panelists from those three, well-known globalist organizations, they say, hey, absolute control. This will give us control. They say that it's programmable. This money would be programmable. And the third one that goes straight to your point says that we could stop spending on things we deem, irresponsible, like munitions. He says ammunitions, but it's kind of slurred. Munitions, drugs, and pornography. And I said, wait a minute. We live in a Second Amendment nation. You have a right to buy ammunition as well as a gun and own it, but they lump them in together just casually. So anything that is deemed inappropriate, you can't spend your money. You can't, perhaps you've been subscriber to Blaze Television, where we are today. Well, maybe your money doesn't go to Blaze Television because we're accused of having malinformation, not disinformation, not misinformation, but malinformation, information that goes against the narrative. And so you can't even buy your Blaze subscription with your central bank digital currency. That's the kind of world I think we're facing.
Well, I think we've already seen examples of that, right? This would be much easier to do if all of our money was issued via central bank digital currency, and the people that are promoting it obviously know that. But if you look back to the Canadian trucker protests, right, you had Canadian truckers were protesting against vaccine mandates in Canada back in 2021, and what happened when they tried to show up to protest, what in this country would be their First Amendment right, is the government under Prime Minister Trudeau basically froze all of their assets, right? Even without due process, right? The Trudeau government claimed to be invoking an extremely rarely used emergency power, but basically froze their bank accounts without a court order. Also attempted to cancel their vehicle insurance. That's their truckers, and that's their job. They need that. And that was under current laws. That's without even this sort of central bank direct control of currency. So, and I'm sure there are any number of COVID policy maniacs in this country, right, who would have been happy for the U.S. government to have had that power during that time when the sort of left-wing policy people said that there should be lockdowns of everything under the sun. So it would be dangerously easy for someone trying to manipulate policy in this country under a digital currency regime to freeze your bank account, to cancel your insurance, to stop you from spending or going anywhere. And it's not just, the important thing I think here is that it's not just a matter of dollars and cents, right? Of course, we don't want anyone, stealing money from our bank account, but it's, like you said, a Second Amendment in the case of people going after gun rights, and it's a First Amendment freedom that we're talking about. It's your freedom to be a citizen, to live as a free human being, which I think ultimately, as much as we might love to see, that money pile up our investment accounts, that's ultimately the more important freedom that's at issue here.